Live coverage of BR6 Friday night here at the desk, and it's good to have you along for our fifth and final match of the weekend today. Well, today at least. We've had a bunch of matches throughout the weekend, 5 of them today, of course, and our last one involves Team Liquid and MIBR. Now, it has been confirmed indeed that Black Dragons are qualified for the LATAM League final, so unfortunately MIBR aren't going to be able to scrape their way into that one, but let's see if they can go out with a bang all the same and take down in-boss Team Liquid here. We'll find out. Let's get some perspective from the players, and then we'll be back with Gio and Ollie to get into the match.
É a grande campeã da Copa Elixir!
Liquid vai pra grande final do Six Invitational!
A gente não jogou querendo perder aquela partida, a gente só jogou mais relaxado. Isso fez com que a MIBR agressivasse acima da gente, que é uma coisa que eles sabem fazer com excelência, e acabou acontecendo aquele 7-1.
Era o último jogo ali do BR6, né, pré-Elite Six, todo mundo, a gente já sabia que estava classificado, eles também. Mesmo assim, os dois times entraram, para a partida querendo ganhar, obviamente, mas, não foi um confronto já do melhor desempenho possível das duas equipes, né.
Contra a MIBR, eu acredito que a gente vai entrar com a mesma mentalidade que a gente entrou no Invitational. A gente sabe que eles são uma equipe que sabe ser muito agressiva e trabalha costinhas muito bem. Então, se a gente conseguir forçar um dos lados ali, eu acredito que a gente vai conseguir sair com a vitória.
O projeto do jogo de hoje para ser um bom jogo, para que a gente consiga levar a vitória. A gente tem que ficar de olho no Palu, né? O Palu sempre ele pegando as fricas, sempre bem posicionado no mapa, tem que sempre ficar esperto com a foca.
Good to see these teams here are ready and willing for this match, ready to get stuck in here with Team Liquid MIBR facing off as our final match in Group 2. Let's have a look at where they'll be playing. And Ollie, I'm interested to see where we end up for this final match. Liquid, of course, one of the big dogs in this league. MIBR certainly have seen some pretty bad fortune recently, but both teams will be looking to close things out as convincingly as possible here at the end of Stage 2. And we're about to find out very shortly where that's going to happen, Ollie.
Yeah, I think a chance for Liquid, I believe, to regain that top spot here if they get a win. And if we know Team Liquid, we know that that's something that they like to try and do. They like the bragging rights. They like to be able to say that they're the best team inside of Brazil. And they would be able to say that if they win here tonight and regain that top spot off FaZe. In terms of map and where I expect us to go here, it really does come down to the fact that Team Liquid are going to be playing guaranteed inside of the Copa Elite 6 this weekend, and so far MIBR aren't guaranteed. So I think MIBR probably want to go to one of their better maps, a map that could be Consulate. It is a map that they have seen a good success rate on, given the fact that it is also their most played map. Obviously, working with Felipogs on controller, it is always going to make things a little bit more difficult. We are going to see Consulate come through. Very interesting that Oregon is left there as a map that is available. I'm not saying that Liquid would be hoping here for an Oregon to go through. It wouldn't be the worst thing to happen. Liquid are known to go to Oregon. It's where we saw this match take place last season, where MIBR were actually able to get the win. So, and it's a 50-50 map. It doesn't really give too much away. By Consulate being this last remaining map as well, obviously we saw Liquid play Consulate a couple of days ago against Team 1. So there's something there for MIBR to really try and base themselves off here today. This weekend so far, MIBR have played a lot of Chalet, and it's no surprise to see them ban Chalet. You're not going to play Chalet against Liquid. That would really be a suicide wish. So ultimately, Oregon, Consulate, kind of expected Consulate to come through as the map. It's a good map for MIBR, but obviously everything that we say, and I'm going to be really glad next stage, or at least I hope next stage, we don't have to sort of preference everything with this, is that, you know, obviously with Felipox, with the fact that he's going to be playing on a controller. So it's still up in the air. On paper, Liquid should come out away, come and win this one, but we all know what Liquid have been like this last couple of weeks. They've been very hit or miss.
Well, Liquid have had a better weekend this weekend than last for sure. They've played 2 matches already and won both of them. They went 7-5 against BD on Friday, and then yesterday took down MIBR 7. They took down Team 1 8-6. So they've certainly got a bit of form this weekend. Again, they are one of the best teams in the league. Another day in the office here, potentially, Geo, for Liquid, or do you think that MIBR are going to meaningfully challenge them?
Oh man, it's so hard to say because after yesterday, if I'm totally honest, I don't know who MIBR can meaningfully challenge. Yesterday was absolutely terrible, but they did get their victory over Santos the day prior, which gave us a bit of optimism. But at the same time, Santos and Liquid are not necessarily the same caliber of team. I mean, MIBR are going to be fighting, I think, because the thing is, so what is it? They need 3 points. They need 3 points to be on par. Well, actually, because Black Dragons win the head-to-head.
Yeah, no, look, we actually have had it confirmed by Ubisoft on their Brazilian Twitter account. MIBR are not going to make it through to the LATAM League finals, and I think that is reflected on those faces. Look at that. You can see dejection. You can see they've just watched Black Dragons win in overtime, and that can't be a good feeling to carry through here, Ollie. These guys must be really, really feeling the weight of this.
Yeah, I would imagine that they are, you know, and it's something that's entirely out of their hands. It's an unfortunate circumstance to be faced with, and to now have to go in and play a game, it really does, you know, sting a little bit that you've got to go out and perform and almost kind of put that brave face on and jump on in and play as if, you know, nothing's wrong. For MIBR, it's not going to be a feeling that these guys are used to. This is a team that has seen a lot of success in a relatively short period of time. Obviously, with the successes at Six Invitational being their biggest accolade, you know, I know that we've got a lot of representation from BR6 at Six Invitational, but for MIBR, I think they were the one that surprised everyone. You know, you think of Team Liquid and you're like, yep, you know, we expect it of them. You think of NIP and you're like, yep, they got second last year. Like, we expect it of them. But no one really expected it of MIBR. So to go from those highs to the lows is obviously going to be quite jarring for them.
Yeah, a really tough position for MIBR, and look, hopefully they'll be able to pull something out and give us a good contest here against Team Liquid, one of the end bosses of this division. But it looks like the game is underway. We're going to be able to jump into it right here, right now. Gio and Ollie ready to take your hand through our final match. Let's get underway and head down to Consulate.
Match number 5 here. We are going to be headed to Consulate. Thank you very much, Riley. Back again, Gio. We've just done an overtime on Consulate. Do these guys not know that? Like, are we not going for a bit of variety here? But
I mean,
I suppose back again.
Well, I hope that we're not going to see the same mistakes that we made, especially come out from Team 1 in the last game that we just had on Consulate, where there was a lot of cool planting. Oh, wait, we can't defend the plant, you know? So it'd be nice for none of that to be coming out, but we've got to wait to see how these operator vetoes are going to go first. MIBR, they banned Thatcher as their first ban, and they'll be doing the last one as well. Meanwhile, Team Liquid getting rid of Jackal and Valkyrie, so they want no information to be available.
Absolutely not. And why would you? Information is power. Power is not allowed here. It isn't going to be easy for MIBR inside of this game, and you could remove the circumstances from it. You would still pit this as a difficult game for MIBR just because you're going up against Liquid and you've got to give Liquid that respect. But they are starting off here on the defense, and typically the trend over the past couple of days has been teams struggling on their attacks on Consulate. So we could see them see a little bit of favor in that regard. Although their lineup, Gio, it doesn't quite speak to a smoke and a lot of denial. Instead, it's we're going to be out in your face and playing aggressively.
Oh Oh god, they're going for the NIP coastline strategy. You know what we saw from NIP earlier on their defense? They didn't want to anchor either. They barely even wanted to do some site setup. Instead, they just went for this really, really big roam. Different map, of course, and I would argue that it's a bit more feasible on coastline than it is here on Consulate. So we'll have to see how much it is that MIBR do decide to lean into that, because it's entirely possible that Files is still going to stay down into the site. You're going to have Reduct playing in bathroom. You know, they could still opt to take these more traditional positions, which would be kind of closer to the norm than what we did see from NIP earlier.
I think the extended roam game is probably not a bad idea here from MIBRs. It is going to give Liquid a focus and something to really get their teeth stuck into. And if you kind of want to just lay the game onto gunfights, you know, why not? We know MIBR to be a very capable side. We've seen some great stuff out of pretty much everybody on the side of the roster throughout one Playday or another. Just given in the fact that they've usually had to, you know, step up and fill a little bit more of a role than they usually do. And that's often come through in terms of kills or flashy gunfights. So we'll see how it transpires. In the meantime, Liquid aren't committing at all. They're doing the classic Team Liquid thing of trying to get those picks on the repels and on the rotations. And they're never really too phased with how long that takes. It's a strategy that they employ on Chalet as well, where they will try and drone people out, create these crossfires. You see where we've got Nesk and Palu both hitting those repel positions with drones moving on through. Redux, you just got a glimpse. You got to hit your shots. Moringa, he gets away with his life there. A C4 thrown over in a desperate attempt. Oh, Redux, we were just gassing you up. We were just saying how you can hang. And you're going to miss a sitter onto Moringa.
Oh, man. It happened. Hey, look. Look at that. Redux eventually got Moringa. It was just a matter of time, but it's not going to stop Nesk from getting fall. So immediately even out, you could just see his knees straight through. And again, Reduct not actually going to land that kill. Instead, Palu gets it in return.
Felipox there able to hold the vertical, and I think he got a glimpse there of what was going on above, but there isn't much advantage to trying to take that fight. Not going to be an easy one to take. Luke is going to be able to rotate himself back down now as well. Rat playing the shield on pipes. Power position ever you've seen one. 40 seconds left, and Liquid are framing up here for a plant. The diffuser is going to be in the capable hands of Sexy Kate. Maybe going to look to open up both sides of the garage, as we do see the exothermic deployed to the second side. And all the work can be done vertically here by Palu. He's done a great job to remove the electrical claws and the mute jammers. Ness can start to work through there as well and really exploit these vertical angles. But there isn't a lot of time left, and we need to see a plant come down ideally from Sexy Cake. Palu going to make his attempt down yellow stairs. Gifted a kill onto Raps, caught in the middle of the doorway. Lukid, a great shot there onto Palu. He's running all the way through the smoke. If he finds this kill, it could be enough, but no, the plant will go down. It is confirmed. Felipox, he shuts down Ness. Don't forget that guy's on a controller. He's now got to deal with Sexy Cake outside of the breach, frantically trying to on through. Sexy Cake isn't going to give him all too much. Fully,
he's just going for it.
He's going to pre-fire on through, draws for the pistol. What an attempt there. You have to commend Felipox for that one. The rounds are going to go to Liquid. What about that for some entertainment?
Just full sending it straight out of the garage. I mean, I guess he knew that he wasn't going to get it if he just stayed behind, or what's he got to lose, right? Wow.
Exactly.
Oh, what a... Not quite what I was expecting, but I'm not going to complain about it. MIBR are going to be returning back to the same site. Looks like they're going to take the same, if not very similar, setup as before. Because Felipox playing on the mirror, I would argue, is probably a better place for him to be. He can play behind some safety, not necessarily be expected to be kind of running and gunning like you might expect a bit more from an alibi. We'll see how this one goes. It could give them just a lot more security around the actual site itself, where Team Liquid are going to be looking to come in and plant.
Well, another attempt downstairs. It's mostly likely going to be met with a very similar approach here by Liquid. Let's see. Nothing too different in the lineup. We've got PSK on the Nomad this time, as there was a little bit of an attempt there, if only from Felipox, to get himself out and play a little bit more aggressively. You kind of got to feel bad for Lukin in that situation as well. Like, that's really one that he'll watch back the VOD and he'll go, oh, so close to taking out Sexgate, but Sexgate just planting in his own smoke. It's always a risky strategy, especially when players are willing to move forward and challenge. In that instance, it did work out. But very easily could have been around that went the other way. Now, Lukin's found himself downed already here. Palu's going to save his second nade for the time being, although he looks like he's going to get it on through. There is a drone giving him a bit of intel. There we go. The kill is cleaned up. Lukin taken on out. There's a big piece of the puzzle gone for MIBR.
Yeah, it was a nice clear there. Make sure that they have... Well, I was going to say control of bathroom, but I suppose in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter too much, given that the site is downstairs once again. But Team Liquid is still focusing a lot of attention up here to the top floor, knowing that MIBR have a roam. Raps is going to be turning and not actually going down the stairs. He's still going to be holding on to the upstairs, moving towards meeting. But how long are Team Liquid going to stay up here? We're not even at the halfway round in the... Or the halfway point in the round, sorry. Yet, so it's not like they're desperate for time.
Looking here, the air jab's getting placed out there. It's going to cause a bit of cause for concern. Nesk, he cleans up Raps. Able to take down the pests as well. Liquid haven't lost any drones to those two, at least. It's a strange place to play the mirror for Redux. He's kind of exposed in that regard as well from a couple of different angles, but it's going to work out for him. Able to find the kill onto Moringa again for a second time. Moringa not seeing a great deal of success inside of that piano. He's lost both of his engagements there with Reduct. It does something to bring things back here into MIBR's favor, but Ness going to try and open that vertical angle. It's not even going to matter. Palu just hits him with the wall bang. That's one way to deal with the player inside of bathroom. Nice and swiftly. And now Ness can work on the vertical angle as well, dropping him in through to piano. There are still going to be a couple of electric claws to deal with here. Fowls is in position to trick, but isn't going to be given the fortune of time. Sexcake isn't wasting any time because there isn't that much to spare here. It's going to be a 1 versus 4 now, as Palu is going to be able to shut down Felipox. Fowls, though, comes in with the trade. Fowls is going to be under a lot of pressure here. He's got 16 seconds to try and hold on. He does find the frag over onto Nesk. And the second onto Sexcake. Drew for the pistol. Nearly did it onto PSK as well. PSK there picking up the pieces in what could have been a very, very difficult to explain round for Liquid.
Like, I'll be totally honest with you. This is the second round now that even though Team Liquid has won it, it hasn't exactly been a clean victory. I know that on round number 1, Felipox running out, okay, yeah, maybe that was probably not going to work. But Falls very much could have got that 3k at the end. And yeah, I mean, Team Liquid were very thorough in their attack. It was that classic Team Liquid style. You go from the top, you work down to the bottom, you're droning, you're being methodical. And they finally got their way down, and it became incredibly scrappy and explosive.
And it's strange to not see Sexy Kate trying to get the plant off in that situation.
Yes.
That is classic Liquid. Get yourself into that sort of, even that sort of man count advantage, and be like, yep, get the plant down now and just lock this round up. And we didn't see that. We saw the kills starting to happen instead, and you just got to think and wonder why, you know, like, what's changed, what's going on here, because you're now leaving things up to chance where previously we've seen you really lock things in. So, again, and like you say, Fowls, imagine if he does that. Like, that's just... It doesn't really matter what happens from that point onwards. You're just going to take that one to the bank and you're going to dine out on it forever. It would have been a really, really flashy clutch for him to be able to get. And as you say, these rounds not going clearly toward Liquid. But so far, they are doing a really good job of picking up these rounds on the attack, which is where we have seen teams struggling.
Well, here's the pre-match poll. So asking the audience who they thought was going to win, 72% said Team Liquid. So there's still quite a bit of faith in MIBR. I'm wondering if these are just like the die-hard fans. You know, they're never going to let go. But most people are sitting in Team Liquid's camp.
I want to know the stats from the match prediction in terms of the channel points. That'll tell you a full story. Okay, so 7.1 million to Liquid and 2-point-something million, 7 million.
You might think that's actually the number
MIBR.
of channel points. It's actually the number of viewers.
That's the total channel points that has been staked
no, it's
on
the
this
number
one.
of viewers.
Have you checked
I
it?
asked.
You run the numbers?
Yep.
Nice.
I just, you know, everyone loves Brazil region. What can I say? Anyway, I mean, Team Liquid's still doing a bunch of droning. Not much has really happened in the time that we've been talking about channel points. Everybody is still alive. This is a CEO site this time, so Team Liquid having so much attention up to the top floor, not quite as unusual as that's kind of where they gotta go.
Yeah, MIBR haven't left themselves with too much option. They're not seeing that success downstairs, so they're going to mix it up and go up. I'm kind of surprised to not see Split or Press and Lobby brought out from them here, but they obviously feel as though this top floor has some value for them. But Liquid, again, are a team that you just don't get the feeling they're ever going to rush around here on Consulate. They are a very slowly moving team, but a team that move with a lot of purpose. As is being demonstrated here, there's a couple of drones working ahead. Nesk's going to get the heads up that there's going to be somebody inside a piano, but he also knows now that there's someone at the bottom of main stairs. He's got a bit of an engagement to start to work out and figure out how he wants to navigate this. Players from Liquid are going to start to circle, and already we see a couple of the bottom part of those yellow stairs. Nesk instead going to say, well, I'll give you a line of sight, Palu. You can try and deal with the player inside a piano, and Palu will do just exactly that. If there's anybody that you can rely on to win that fight, it probably is going to be him. Nesk then takes down Felipox while Sexy Cake's getting the plant down, and Fowls is left to try and deal with the mess that is left upstairs. Players from Liquid can now take up these external positions. It's going to be quite difficult from here on out, especially when you're rocking the DMR. Sexy Cake going to find the kill over onto Fowls there. The final two come in a flurry. Escampalu getting the job done. Well executed round by Liquid.
Yeah, I mean, that was a good example of another kind of classic Liquid playstyle where they do go in for the plant pretty early. They immediately set up for the post plant. Liquid have always been a very good team of having their eyes one step forward onto how they're going to do a post plant. So even though MIBR had a few players remaining, which on the previous round when Team Liquid weren't playing hyper objective focused, maybe that would have been enough to have won the fight that ensued. Team Liquid didn't really let that fight ensue because they were too focused on what the objective at hand was, and of course setting themselves up for afterwards. So, you know, that was a lot stronger, and I'd say that's probably the most secure Liquid victory that has happened so far in this game over the course of the 3 rounds. MIBR are going to be moving on to their tertiary site of Press and Lobby. They've been struggling, moving everybody around on all these different operators as well. I mean, Lukid is one of those who's been kind of flip-flopping between different ops. Felipox going between Alibi and then Mirror, and now he's back on Mozzie, and just so it's not like anybody is kind of sticking to defined roles. MIBR are really trying to move things around and keep them fluid.
And I think that just speaks to MIBR trying different things and trying to make things work here, because not a lot of what they're throwing at Liquid at the moment is sticking. So we've seen a couple of glimmers and the chance of a big clutch, but I think that last round from Liquid definitely sent a little bit of a message. Just the way that we saw Nesk and Palu coordinating at the bottom of yellow, and the way that XK was able to get the plant down at the same time. It was really good stuff. It certainly shows a depth and a deeper level of understanding. It's just not something that MIBR in that instance were able to really contend with. We'll see how this approach goes, though, coming in onto the split site. This is somewhere that, again, typically we'll see Liquid try and get a plant in on one of the tellers' tables or elevated areas just to avoid any C4s. And honestly, with there only being one C4 on the side of Philippox, that's really on the cards here. You can afford to bait one C4 out. You've just got to take sufficient control upstairs.
Let's see if that does get taken. Again, Liquid just... They really are very slow quite early on. Just holding a lot of angles. And the ping suggests they know that Lukid is right here. Don't know if they know about Reduct too. Because, oh, well, they do now because there's a barrel of the gun. And Lukid was seen as well. The flash is going to be coming in. And Reduct doesn't really have much room to move about in because of the presence from Team Liquid in admin. He doesn't have all of those options.
Well, Nesk eventually is going to come and give him an option to watch the cameras for the rest of the round. He takes him out on the swing, picks him a second onto Fowls. Nesk is looking pretty deadly here today. It's been a while since Nesk has had a truly pop-off game, but this could well be it. Philippox is now trying to move up and make a bit of a challenge on. It isn't going to be all too easy. 2 versus 5 as nobody on the side of Liquid has fallen just yet. Philippox will find one onto Nest, though. Can he convert? Doesn't have his C4. Can try and make use of some of these holes that have been made. Or indeed just desperately spray through the floor. But will eventually shut down Moringa. Nest gets himself picked up. There's a chance at maintaining his impressive KD that he's got at the moment. Rocking 7 and 2. But still, Raps and Philippox here to try and hold on. A little bit of drone work going to go on now from Liquid. Philippox maybe going to dip himself down. He could look to try and work a rotation here, but instead he's just going to start to play by Soda, but Paolo eventually comes in, shut him on down. Rap's now left in the pinch. He's got so much intel, but really what is he able to do with it? Can't even get the shotgun shot off onto Paolo before he gets swung there by the Iana. Shield not really providing all too much assistance there. And that's Liquid continuing their flawless streak here.
Yeah, I mean, it seems that MIBR, especially in the earlier round, they're very well postured to deal with where it is that Team Liquid are coming in from, and they look like they're ready for it. And then when they lose somebody, suddenly there's a lot of backtracking, moving back, falling back, whether it's more towards the site. Not that that's a bad thing, but Team Liquid take that space and they push up and they apply pressure, and then you get to that end pod, and you sort of have this, I suppose... What do you call, like, on a digger, the big scoopy thing? It's like that, and they're like bulldozing them forward so that they can give space for someone like Sexy Cake and the support to do what they have to do, whether that's planting or whatever. And they just keep inching forward and taking that space, and MIBR are giving it to them.
I enjoy how you managed to incorporate a digger bucket into the...
Well, it was the first thing that I thought of. Like, what's something that kind of, like, pushes stuff along? Like, you can do that with a digger, right?
I guess so. Well, Team Liquid, are they digging MIBR an early grave? Are they going to be going home 7-0 here tonight? There is all the chance that is going to be going on. MIBR haven't really shown us any indication that they're going to be able to start coming away with round wins here, and for Liquid to be winning them on the attack is a very dangerous sign. You do wonder if sort of morale is getting a little bit low on the side of MIBR, and they're just sort of going through the motions to get this one said and done, because they aren't playing in the way that we know them to be capable of. And, you know, it's not to say that Liquid are having a particularly fantastic game. They're just going through the motions and playing good Siege and really relying on Palu and Nesk to do a lot of the heavy lifting, which they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, coming into this game, morale will have been low for MIBR anyway, just because they just had their last hope of getting into the Copa Elite 6 taken away from them, right? So they know that they're not going into the finals, they're not going to the major. This team who came third at SI, right? Like, that they're not going to have the option to go to an international LAN. That's got to be heart-wrenching. So, I mean, I did see a tweet just before this game from one of the members of the team. It might have been Bodega, I don't actually remember who it was, saying our focus now is going to be stage 3. Like, that's what we have to look forward to. We're still going to prove ourselves. And I think that's a really good way of thinking about it. Ooh. Alright, nice. Good kill for Leapbox onto Nest. I think that's a really good way of thinking about it, but that doesn't stop it from hurting in this game.
I think it is, especially when you saw what NIP were capable of doing inside of just one stage. It really does show that a lot of things are possible for MIBR. And maybe just not inside of this game in particular, as they have been able to get the opening pick here onto Nesk. You just wonder how long that is going to translate through. Palu is poised and ready. He snuck his way all the way to the top of Spiral. He's going to try and make something happen from there. PSK primed and ready to move his way on in as well. Everyone on the side of Team Liquid is lying in wait. They can't wait forever though. 45 seconds is all that stands between them and the end of the round. So they need to move and they need to make something happen. Now we start to see the utility come through. Raps keeps himself clear, but no, gets wall banged. Horrible stuff there from Sexy Cake, able to take him down. Look at a great view of that as well. Just seeing how unlucky Raps got in that challenge. Sexy Cake will continue his tear and pick up a double. He takes down Lukid. Redux and Fowls now the two remaining survivors. The plan all being attempted very soon as Palu's going to shut down Redux. Sexy Cake comes in with a triple kill there in that round. Not often we see him getting the majority of the kills, but able to get a nice trade there. PSK was downed in process.
Makes you wonder what it is at this point that's going to potentially give MIBR a momentum shift. I mean, you never know. We're not at the end of the half yet, so this could be the round, and maybe the half will be the time where suddenly it changes. But it's just, I mean, even when MIBR have gotten some good kills, like, I mean, for example, the one that Felipox got onto Nesk in that last round, like, great, cool, you got an opener, but they're not building on it. They're not, you know, capitalizing on any of those things that they secure. So it just feels a bit frivolous at times, and sporadic is probably the best way for me to put it.
Yeah, I think it is just one of those occasions where MIBR they're just coming in and they're trying to make things happen. And it's almost kind of strange to see how seriously Liquid are taking this one. Especially given the way that they've played a couple of their other fixtures in the last couple of days. Liquid have really come into this one with, you know, quite a serious mentality. And especially Palu and Nesk have looked to prove a point. I mean, just look at how many kills Palu's got. Palu's 11-3 right now. Nesk is 7-3. Like, these guys are just going through Terminator style. Even Sexy Cake's 5-1. Sexy Cake's rating and all that sort of stuff typically comes from his contribution toward objectives, such as, you know, getting the plant down and all that sort of stuff. Sexy Cake isn't always a fragger, and, you know, there's only so many kills that can go around, and when you're fighting against Palu and Nesk to get a share of them, it only makes a lot of sense that you're not going to see all too many yourself. But this is a different Team Liquid to what we've seen, and you maybe just wonder, are they getting the game face on ready for the week of Siege to come?
Well, I want to see if these 4 C4s are going to make much of a difference, because Team Liquid have been going for this top-down approach to attacking onto Garage. And with MIBR bringing along a Pulse to help assist those other operators, then maybe this can stunt Team Liquid in their tracks. Now, that drone that we saw on the hatch did give Team Liquid some valuable information. You can see that someone's down in antechamber. That's going to be Redux. Standing in front of a window isn't going to help you there. But he's also got pressure coming in from the other side as well, which is why we just saw him shoot in through that soft wall.
Info can be gathered here with the heartbeat scanner, and Fleapox is going to be trying to do just exactly that. Still almost painfully slow by Liquid, because they're not looking to make any mistakes here. It shows a good level of respect toward MIBR that this is how seriously they're taking this one. They're not looking to just get themselves caught in random engagements that they can't control the outcome of. We do have Moringa, and he has typically struggled, especially inside of Piano. This time he is being allowed to open up the floor by Redux, but you know that Redux only a couple of seconds away from hitting him with that swing. That could be a good C4 that comes in. It is going to certainly do some damage onto Palu, and Palu gets ready for the inevitable swing that follows. Leapok still continuing to gather this intel. The heartbeat scanner going to work through and give him a chance at least calling out to Redux how many players are upstairs inside a piano, and Lukid the same. Lukid on quite the gentle flank at the minute. He's taking his sweet time to get there, and he's going to start to try and make something happen now, but eventually kills will start to come in, and they'll come in Palu's favor. He takes down 2 before Falsey. 2 aggresses on up. Fowls, you just need to try and hold the breach now. You could have found a few as these flooded on in. Instead, it's down to Felipox. He picks off Nesk. Can he grab 60k? Oh. Yes, he can. PSK. He takes him down. It's 1 versus 1. Lukid, he's been on the flank for the longest time. PSK is going to be allowed to recover that diffuser. But Lukid has to try and advance on through. PSK thought he picked it up, but no, he didn't. Now he's picked it up, and he's going to look to try and get it down. There's a gunfight that's going to ensue. MIBR finally get themselves around here. Messy stuff from PSK, thinking he'd picked up the kit, and actually he hadn't.
Oh no, that was so frustrating. And I mean, Team Liquid did a good job of trying to avoid the minefield that was being thrown up at them in Piano. But I think one of the things is because that was detracting so much of their attention. You know, the reason Palu got taken down is because he got shot from yellow stairs. You're so worried about trying to avoid where these C4s might be coming from that you accidentally stand in a line of sight that just isn't in the forefront of your mind at that point. And then, of course, what happened downstairs, Felipox getting his 2k, which was huge because Team Liquid were holding the man advantage and looked pretty good to go. And then, of course, as you say, PSK just missing out on picking up the diffuser at the end, which was in the end, a fatal mistake. Even though he spotted Felipox, it just wasn't fast enough. And I actually think the round ended on time because PSK was still alive by it.
Yeah, the round went on time. I think we were looking to PSK to pick the kit up and start to extend it by getting the plant down in cafeteria. That would have ideally been the play there. But it not coming to be, and it was a much scrappier round from Liquid, and they again spent a lot of time in the run-up to setting up for that execute, but it wasn't something that worked out too well for them. But now we see sides switch. MIBR, they have to try and attack on in here. As I've mentioned previously, we've seen a lot of teams struggle with attack onto this map. Liquid, in this game, haven't been one of them, but previously they have fallen to the same plight of struggling to attack on Consulate. We'll have to see how MIBR approach this one, as obviously, where have we seen a scoreline of 5-1 before, Gio?
Yeah, don't remind me of our last game. We thought we knew how it was going to go, and yet...
I would have lost channel points on that one.
Yeah, that was really something. Well, I guess we'll have to see if that's going to be the way this is going to go as MIBR switch over to the attack. Team Liquid 2 on their... Yeah, well, there you go. Nice start. Team Liquid 2 are going to start their garage defense off also with the C4s. 3 rather than 4, but it's still the same kind of idea. That said, with Nesk going down, they are left with just 2. So I don't know if they're going to be able to have that same kind of threat should MIBR look to come in from above. But a nice kill from Palu with the Roni is going to bring Redux down.
Well, the kills are coming through thick and fast, and they are being traded as well. Lukid going to trade out onto Palu's. PSK hops himself out, seeing if he can find any success. With the 2 big fraggers gone, going to fall to other players on the side of Liquid to get the job done here, which we all know them to be very capable of doing. It looks as though MIBR are going to try and attempt a bit of a plant here. Now, Sexy Cake is playing on Echo, and we'll have Yokais in position to try and deny a plant. It has actually been pinged on out there by MIBR, and they've got a red ping onto the location of that, but a second drone can be thrown on out. Still a tentative approach here from MIBR, despite the man advantage that they've got. Sexy Cake's got a punch hole to work with. The kick going to be cold on the ground, so he knows that, at least for the meantime, it's not going to be worked with, but fouls with the entry. Look at that for a kill over onto Sexy Cake. His teammates flooding in past him as well. Fouls is going to pick off Moringa. Lukid, he finds another onto PSK. MIBR, they seem to have had a bit of wind injected into their sails after that previous round win.
I think they could read way more into the positions of Team Liquid. And of course, when you end up in that position at the end as Team Liquid, there's just a couple of you remaining. MIBR are looking to push through. They, A, know where you are going to be, but B, you can't really push out and do much because oftentimes you'd be looking to have multiple angles being held onto that part of the site, and that's simply not available to you at that point. So MIBR may be working on the redemption arc as they put their second round on the board. Team Liquid are going to look to go upstairs instead of repeating their efforts on Garage. Let's see what it is they are bringing. I mean, nothing too magical or special, I guess. This is pretty standard.
Yeah, upstairs to CEO. As you say, nothing that's going to raise any eyebrows in terms of operator selection. On either side, really. We've got the Flores from Redux, so we maybe get to see that incorporated into a bit of a yellow stairs take. It's one of the areas that I would suspect Flores to be quite good, given that you can, with enough practice, I would imagine that you can just jump him in through the skylight or throw him down from the skylight on yellow stairs and almost activate it straight away so that as soon as it lands, it's exploding. I guess that's somewhere that you could try and get a little bit of value. Obviously, the typical ADSs and magnets or Aruni laser gates that are going to get placed there are all going to be victim to those Flores drones, obviously providing the laser gate is burnt, but we shall see. We shall see where that utility gets placed. Initially, we're looking for a bit of opening aggression as last round started with a little bit of a bang. Big kills going back either way, but I think that was maybe just sort of a first round thing on defense from Liquid in challenging those spawn peaks.
I'm like holding the silence while the droning is going on. I could be like, well, they're droning through this room, but I feel like that gets a bit boring after a while. C4 getting prepped Palu, but it's not gonna land on the right spot. He miscalculated where that one was going to go. Bit of a shame. The thing is, with Palu being down below, MIBR now think, oh man, we've got to go get rid of him. Like, he's gonna be a problem. Could be. We're all getting prepared on the rappel. And I suppose watching out for a potential run out as well.
Always got to be cautious of that, especially when you're dealing with Liquid. You never know where they're going to start flying themselves out from, especially with the way that Palu and Nesk are feeling the shots today. There's serious possibility of that happening. Close angles being held with shotguns. Laser gaze still yet to be burnt through. MIBR maybe haven't made as much progress as they would have liked here. They've got wraps at the bottom of long desk, but still players underneath from Liquid that have got C4s in pocket. Oh, that's not ideal, is it? Luki is going to take down Raps. How the heck has that happened? Moringa, he's going to take down Fowls. As we see a messy gunfight ensue. 5 versus 2. And Redux going to be left as the last alive on the rappel. He too is going to get swung by Sexy Cake. What is going on with this guy today? He finds himself a couple of nutty kills there to close out the round for Liquid and put them onto a match point.
This Sexy Cake has been having a game, hasn't he?
It really has.
Finding themselves on match point now, as you say. This could be a 7-2 victory for Team Liquid. They just need to pull it out in this next round. They're going to be going to Archives and Tellers. I don't know why I keep saying that. It's Tellers and Archives. It sounds wrong to say it the other way around, but as you always call it, split. But when I think of the word split, I think of the whole Des doesn't know where split thing is.
Oh, right, okay.
That's ages ago now. So I always think of split from the theme park. Regardless, it's where Team Liquid are going to be headed. Now, this is going to be a challenge for MIBR because are they going to be coordinated enough to attack onto this site? Purely because of the nature of the site being on 2 different levels, you do need to have a decent amount of coordination to do it. Not just to go for a clear elsewhere, and a lot of teams have been going for a proper top-down clear rather than just heading in through the first floor. But also, you need eyes on what's going on downstairs as well as what's happening in front of you on the first floor. And you need to figure out how to deal with those players who are going to be split across the two. There's also likely to be utility that's going to be used against you from below. So in this case, they actually only have one C4. A pulse has not been brought, but there are a lot of impact grenades. And if Team Liquid want to use those offensively, then they will essentially do the same thing. So MIBR need to coordinate on how to deal with all of that in obviously just a 3-minute window. And when the team is having troubles, that's how I wonder, are there going to be mistakes along the way that are going to prevent that from being particularly effective?
It definitely puts the pressure on here for MIBR. They do have an opportunity, and I don't know what flashed through my mind, but for a moment there with that hatch getting opened, I just wondered if they were going to really try and rush this one out and go for some aggression. But thank goodness we didn't see anybody follow up that hatch getting opened by throwing themselves down it. Instead, we do see players trying to take a bit of control here of Garage. So a slightly different approach to that of Liquids. Liquids is usually getting onto that top floor, take control of admin, and work vertically that way. MIBR here are a little bit more undecided in what they're trying to do. And they've managed to spend a minute or so just figuring that out so far. Fowls is going to deploy a bit of utility, the Iskaros pellets onto the Garage, as Lucid thinks about pushing on through as well. So far, Liquid aren't being pinched or pressured all too much.
I don't think, yeah, they don't have anybody properly upstairs. They do have a lot of these different entranceways being watched. Wait, was that Sexy Cake all the way upstairs, or was Sexy Cake the first floor? Oh, I don't know, it doesn't matter. Nesk to get the first kill onto Reduct. So that's already not a good start for MIBR.
Not ideal at all, especially when PSK is going to double down on it. Palu as well finds himself too. Lucid and Raps just swing him desperately. Philippok's left as the last alive. Does manage to shut down Nesk. It's been an engagement that's been going back and forth, and I think Philippok's has maybe come off the better of it, but ultimately this is Liquid's to lose. Palu makes his way upstairs. He found 3 kills inside of that final round. Liquid, they do it. They are going to take the top spot here inside of stage 2.
What was a 7-1 victory for MIBR last stage has turned into a 7-2 victory for Team Liquid in this one. It doesn't really change the narrative as to what's going to happen for the Copa Elite 6, as we already knew by this point that MIBR were out of the running and Team Liquid were very much in. However, it still was good fun to watch, and we got to see a little bit from these two teams. And Team Liquid, I mean, they're not gonna take a lot. They're not gonna be upset about taking a win.
Now, Liquid are going to be very happy with that. It was nice to see them come out and really play some clean siege, and I think it's probably going to have done a lot for themselves as well. You think back to the last couple of games for Team Liquid, and they really haven't been plain sailing. You know, you talk about the loss against Santos in overtime on Coastline. You can talk about the game yesterday where they got pushed all the way to by Team 1. But for Liquid, it hasn't been an easy end to the stage. So to come out there and to play some really clean siege and to play in a fashion that we're very familiar with is going to feel pretty good for them, I'm sure. So it's nice to see that they have been able to pull out the win tonight. We're going to bring Riley back in here. We've got a little bit of a surprise for you. I'm going to let Riley dish the news, but basically don't go anywhere.
Yes, indeed, my friends. Very excited to reveal to you now that we will be getting across the draw of the LATAM League final. We're going to be bringing you live coverage of that. It'll be brought to you from the Brazilian feed here, and we're going to be sharing our thoughts and reactions as we discover exactly what these groups are going to look like next week. If you're newer to the broadcast and how this works, well, welcome. First of all, by all means, welcome. 6 teams go from the Brazilian division to the LATAM League finals. They're joined by 2 teams from other divisions. We've got 2 teams from Mexico, 2 teams from Argentina, and these 10 teams will be split up into groups of 5. These 2 groups then play round robins amongst the 5 people in each team. The winner of each group goes straight to the semi-finals of the playoffs. The teams in second and third play in the quarters, while the bottom two teams, they pack their bags and they go home. And of course, to find out who will be playing whom, we need to draw those teams out. So we're going to get to that shortly here. We're looking forward to that. It's coming your way very shortly. I'm not sure if we are going to have an interview or not lined up after that match. I'm still waiting for confirmation on that one there. But with it does look like Sexy Cake will be joining us here. But with Team Liquid picking up one last win there, Gio, that's setting them, in good stead once again for this LATAM League final coming to the top of the table here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it ultimately matters a horrendous amount, but for Team Liquid, it's going to feel pretty good. They're going to be pretty happy with it. That one, I'm assuming that this has been updated, so they're actually in second place. If producer Simon can confirm that one for me, so they haven't beat FaZe out for the top spot. They are in second place, which is actually what they were last stage as well.
No, they get first.
Oh, they've got first?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Liquipedia had not updated, so my bad.
Liquipedia didn't update.
Liquipedia a little slow on the draw there, but yeah, it looks like the final standing
Liquipedia,
Team Liquid on 40 and FaZe Clan on 38, then Ninjas Pajamas 34 behind them. Looks like we have Sexy Cake joining us here at the end of our match play for the day. Sexy Cake, of course, from the victorious Team Liquid there. Thanks for finding the time to join us, mate. Congratulations on the win, and a very nice way, I'd imagine, for the team to round out this stage here.
Yeah, guys. Hello, first of all. And it's pretty good to end the split on the first place. It's good for us.
I honestly have to ask, you particularly seem to be playing pretty out of your mind today. Were you feeling buzzed?
I don't think. All of us just wanted to end the game because it's almost late, and we knew that MIBR is in a lose streak. There's Philippox on a controller, but he really played really well on controller today, and we were waiting for that because he has a controller. He's not gonna kill everyone in every match, but against us, he's gonna destroy us, and that was what happened today. We were expecting that, and I think we just played really aggressive, trying to not losing to things that we knew that would come in the match. Like they wanted to lurk around our play, so we played really patiently, waiting them to show up on our end. And it was like we expected.
I think from my point of view, certainly watching the game, Sexy Cake, it looked as though you played as a team a lot differently to what we've seen you play the past couple of play days. Was there a big incentive to get that top spot here tonight? Was that something that really drove you? Or was it the fact that you were just looking forward to getting into a little bit more competition next weekend and wanted to give yourself a good start for that?
I think we really wanted the top spot, so it was just we wanted to win. So it doesn't matter. We have Elite 6 2 days from now, but we just want to win and secure the top spot because we have the third split. So yeah.
Well, Sexy Cake, thanks for joining us, and congratulations on the win, closing out the season, or the stage, I should say, in style at the top of the table. Looking forward to seeing you and the rest of the team perform well at the LATAM League Finals. Thanks so much for joining us, Sexy Cake.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye. Have a nice weekend. Oh, okay.
Well,
Producer Simon. Simon.
Like
to Sexy Cake, he didn't even tell us to buy the A's. Oh, he's coming back!
AM radio host. Here he is. Sorry, Sexy Cake, mate. We cut you off there. Now he's on again. Oh, my goodness.
I hope Simon feels terrible.
Oh, dear. It's like an AM radio broadcast where the caller starts arguing with the host. Nope, cut him off. Cut the mic. That's it. All right, well, that's enough of that.
I'm so sad.
We are going to be able to have a look at today's
by the A's,
scores
because he always says it.
By the A's.